Welcome to the Manders Mindset podcast. Here you'll find both monologue and interviews of entrepreneurs, coaches, healers, and a variety of other people, where your host Amanda Russo will discuss her own mindset and perspective and her guest mindset and perspective on the world around us. Manders and her guests will help explain to you how shifting your mindset will shift your life.
Welcome back to another episode of Manders Mindset. As always, I'm your host, Amanda Russo. And I am so excited for today's episode. But I have something to share with y'all that is pretty wild. Early on in January of 2024, January 11th, it was 111. A divine goddess, Meg, sent me this video that she found on Instagram to do on the 111 portal. And it's where you write down 11 things that you called in. It's a letter to the universe, 11 things you are calling in. And on the back side of the paper, there is 11 things for each of these things that you are willing to let go of or release in order to have whatever this manifestation is. Now, I've done different manifestation things, but nothing with the concept of this is what I'm calling and this is specifically what I am letting go for this manifestation that I'm calling in. I remember doing this, but I didn't even remember everything I wrote down because it's almost a year. And now I found this letter that I wrote to the universe. This was so early on in the year. This was January 11th. I had no clue what I even wrote down back then. And now, as I was sitting here reflecting, reading this, it was mind-blowing to me because the second thing I wrote on there was, I went to Bali with my breathwork ladies for the goddess retreat, and it was magical. And I did that, guys. I did that in May. If anyone would have told me January 11th, when I was unemployed and so confused, that I would actually be able to make this manifestation work and attend Bali in May, I would have been like, okay. But you know what? I put it into the universe. I said what I was willing to release. I was willing to rewear Manders Mindset t-shirts and wash them more often. I was willing to not buy any new clothes, to sell different things that I had. And you know what? It happened. And I went to Bali. Another item on that list, number 8, was to travel to a lot of places, including places I've never been to. And that happened. Colorado, Bali, Mount Shasta, Podfest. But here's the thing, guys. Not every single one of these 11 manifestations came true. I wrote down that I earn my car loan fee from podcasting. I don't. Not yet, anyways. It's not that it didn't happen. It's that it didn't happen yet. And it's okay. There's other things on this list that didn't happen as well, but multiple of them did. Finding this letter really reminded me of the power of setting intentions, but also the importance of having flexibility with these dreams and with these manifestations, because not everything will happen in the time frame that we want it to. But it doesn't mean it's not going to happen. So here's my question to you. What are you ready to call into your life? And what are you willing to release to make space for it? Because something has to go. No matter what it is that you are seeking and you are manifesting, whatever that intention is, you will have to release something in order to be the person and embody the mindset of an individual that has this thing. I needed to put in the steps and be willing to make some sacrifices for what it was I wanted. Yes, I got a free ticket to the retreat, but that didn't get me a free $1,600 plane ride. I had to purchase that. There was other things I had to purchase while there as well. So what are you willing to sacrifice for what it is you want? I promise you all, I will be doing this ritual again on January 11th. Who knows? Maybe a year from now, you'll find your own list and be amazed by how far you've come. I'm glad I did this ritual because it's really eye-opening for me. And some of the things that did not come true, I didn't sacrifice the way I said I would in this letter. So hindsight is 2020. Maybe if I did, maybe I would have achieved them. I might not have, but you don't know. 2024 started off full of potential for me. I kicked off the year by attending Podfest after winning a ticket from Buzzsprout. Shout out to them. And Podfest became one of my favorite places. And I met so many amazing people. I met one of my favorite people, P, from Talk Shit with P, who brings so much laughter, so much realness and authenticity to everything. Every single conversation, every single interaction. And one of my biggest blessings from 2024 was having the ability to meet her in person. We connected virtually prior to attending Podfest, and I knew. I was like, I love this chick's energy. She's helped me with so much this past year. I couldn't have imagined 2024 without her. And I met someone at Podfest, shout out to him, JR, someone I connected with online prior to attending Podfest as well. And I knew he was going to be recording there. He was going to have mic set up. I purposely was contacting him via social media and was arranging to get my ass in front of a mic and record with him. And I did. And it was amazing. We recorded together at Podfest. Him and his wife and I went out to dinner. And he's just such a real, authentic person. And he wasn't afraid to sugarcoat anything with me, which I truly appreciated. Recording at Podfest felt like the perfect way to capture the energy. So I am so grateful I got that opportunity to do that with JR. Later in the year, a lot of you have probably heard this episode by now, but JR came on Manders Mindset and he interviewed me for my 100th episode. And it was really cool, a full circle moment, because we met, and the first time we met, we recorded in person and finished out my 100 episodes with him interviewing me. January also brought something, maybe I should say someone, unexpected into my life. I met a man who I connected with really well, and I saw longevity in our connection, and we spent Valentine's Day together. It was really magical, and we talked every day. I'd FaceTime him every single day. He had a sweet little nickname for me, and he really made me feel cared for and like I mattered. But as the months went on, I came to the realization that he didn't want all of me. He wasn't looking for the depth, the commitment, or the longevity that I was looking for, or that I saw in our connection. Setting a boundary and letting him go was really hard. But it taught me an important lesson about my worth. I deserve someone who loves all of me and who sees my worth, who's ready to match my energy and love that I bring to the table. And, looking back, January was a mix of emotions, from excitement to connection to life-altering lessons. It reminded me that beginnings always come with uncertainty, but beginnings also foster so much growth. How did your year start? How did 2024 start for you? Did it look the way you expected it to look? Or did it take you in a completely different direction? fast forward a little bit. In March, I faced quite a few losses in March. I faced the loss of the passing of my friend Lee, and he was someone I met at Podfest in January, but he was one of those few people that made me feel loved and valued for my authentic self. So I felt that loss very deeply. He was someone who had this incredible kindness and a way of making everyone feel loved. Losing Lee reminded me just how fleeting life is, because I had just seen him in January. And it was just 2 months later that he was now gone. And life is really fleeting, and it's so important to cherish every single moment because you never know when it's. March also brought in another type of loss for me. The realization of what it means to let go of relationships that aren't mutual. March is my biological father's birthday, and our relationship has always been complicated. We didn't meet until I was 26, and in the beginning, I felt like we were building a really meaningful, special relationship. But here we are in 2024, and for the first time, neither one of us has said a word to the other for the whole year. And this is the first time since 2022 where we haven't had any interactions. That silence taught me something so profound. Relationships are two-way streets, and you can't be the only one putting in the effort. It doesn't matter who the relationship is with, whether it's your spouse, your sibling, your cousin, your parent, your friend, anyone. It has to be reciprocated. And if it's not, you are just doing a disservice to yourself. It's time to let them go. At some point, you realize you don't want to keep fostering and nourishing connections with people who are not willing to do the same. This lesson showed up for me in other areas of my life too. Multiple areas of my life, actually. Even with the man I met in January. We spent Valentine's Day together, and for a time, I thought this could be the real deal. I thought he could be my forever, but over time, it became clear he wasn't showing up for me the way I was showing up for him. And he wasn't showing up for me the way I needed him to. And here's the thing, guys. While it's painful to let go of people you care about, it is so liberating. It is one of the most liberating things you can do for yourself. By releasing these relationships, it creates space for relationships that will nourish you and flourish your growth. It goes back to the same concept of what you are calling in and what you're willing to let go. As we close out 2024, I encourage you to reflect on your relationships. Who in your life is pouring into you? And who is only taking from you? Who do you only hear from if you reach out? Are there connections that leave you feeling drained instead of supported? It's not worth it, and neither are they. Only carry forward the relationships that energize you and feed into your soul. You deserve relationships that are a two-way street and pour into you as much as you pour into them. Let this be the year that you stop settling for shitty relationships. Spring rolled around, and spring brought someone into my life who completely shifted my world. He wasn't just kind or thoughtful. He showed up for me in ways I didn't even know I needed or I wanted. When I was navigating some tough situations, he was always there for me, helping me find solutions, helping me talk out the situation, offering his time, his assistance in any way he could, and reminding me that I didn't have to face things alone. One moment that really stands out to me was when I was dealing with a major challenge this past year. And this man literally got in the driver's seat to help me handle it because I needed some help. That's who he was. Someone who didn't just say he cared, but showed it in every action. This man always checked in on me, making sure I was okay, seeing if I needed anything, even in moments when I didn't realize how much I valued that kind of support. Beyond all the practical things, he also brought so much clarity into my mindset because he really helped me realize that I had been accepting far too little in some of my relationships. He helped me understand that I deserved so much more than what I had been settling for. And I didn't even realize I was settling. And this realization was like a weight lifted off my shoulders. Having someone who became close with me and was basically an outsider project what he was witnessing was really freeing and empowering to me in ways I hadn't experienced before and in ways I didn't even expect. Fast forward to spring and summertime. They were full of so much adventure, transformation, and growth. From traveling to Bali to traveling to Colorado and traveling to Washington, D.C. and Maryland. And these are experiences that I will never forget. On my plane ride to Bali, I met Motion, shout out to him, who really helped me more than he probably even realizes. And his perspective left such a lasting impression on me. Him and I first met when I had transferred out of the United States and my phone was not working. It was not letting me send any messages, receive messages. The time was even wrong. I was freaking out. Luckily, I made it on the plane and I met this amazing man who could tell I was stressed out, overwhelmed, confused, not knowing what I was going to do. And he started talking to me about this technique that he knows. And this was my reminder of the power of words. He didn't call it breathwork, but he essentially led me through this breathing practice. And I knew we connected for a reason. And he's someone who's really had my back ever since. And it was just this reminder to me that we don't meet anyone by accident. And sometimes the people we meet, even in passing and even with subtle instances, quick conversations, remind you how small the world is and how truly connected we all are. If anyone would have told me I would have met this random man on the plane heading to Indonesia and he would have helped calm my nervous system by basically leading me through a breathwork technique but not calling it breathwork, I would not have believed you. But it's something that made me feel so much ease, and I knew we were connected for a reason. While in Bali, I also met two different individuals who really helped me transform and have the most amazing experience in Bali. One of them being Isa, the amazing, talented photographer who took my stunning pictures in Bali, and she brought so much magic to the photography session. I also met this amazing man named Chauvin in Bali founder of the sound healing of Bali, and he led us through this transformative, magical sound bath that changed my life. And these connections reminded me that life isn't just about where we go or where you are. It's about the people and the connections you meet along the way. Traveling has a way of teaching us lessons that stay with us long after the trip ends. No matter where you are traveling to, some lessons will come out of it. For me, it reinforced the importance of being present and open to growth and open to whatever possibility can exist. I'll give you another example. When I first saw that motion was sitting in the row that I would be sitting in as well, my ego and entitled mindset was like, what the fuck? Because the previous plane ride, I had a row of 3 seats all to myself. This experience taught me a lot. For me, traveling reinforced the importance of being present and being open to any possibilities of growth. Let me ask you this. What journey, literal or metaphysical, helped you grow this year? I encourage you to reflect on it. August rolled around. I had an amazing 28th birthday. I celebrated the week before my birthday in Washington, D.C. and in Maryland at Podcast Movement with a bunch of my friends. Shout out to P, Loyalty, and a bunch of other amazing people that I got to spend the week with and just connect, learn more about podcasting, and just be with like-minded people who get it. The end of August rolled around. I had the opportunity to celebrate my birthday in Colorado. And now this is very synchronistic for me because Colorado is a place I have always internally felt called to and really loved, even prior to ever going there or being there. So getting to spend my 28th birthday there was magical. I attended Newtopia Now, which is a wellness event where I met so many wonderful people. They all knew about breathwork. They all knew and got my mindset on a different level. So it was right up my alley. I got to spend my birthday with one of my really amazing friends, George. Shout out to him, who I also met at PodFest this past year. And honestly, I could not have imagined spending my birthday anywhere else or with anyone else. So, George, thank you so much for making my 28th birthday the best birthday I've ever had, honestly. Oh, this was great. Fast forward to the fall, though. October brought me the hardest loss that I faced of the year. Losing my cousin Kay. Kay wasn't just family to me. She was one of my biggest supporters, my favorite cousin, and one of the few people in my family who supported me the most. I shared on my social media when she passed about how the only person in my family who's ever done breathwork with me other than my mom was Kay. She was a true supporter, no matter what it was. And losing her was one of the hardest things I've ever experienced in 2024 and in my life. When we lost my grandma, it felt like the glue to the family was gone. I'm feeling that same similar feeling again because she was that person in the family that any and everybody could talk to. They could be themselves around. She wasn't going to judge them. Whether she understood your mindset, she accepted everybody for who they were. And she is someone I will miss for the rest of my life. Losing her left a hole in my heart that will never be fully repaired. But her memory continues to inspire me to be the best version of myself and to embody the Sully mindset because she showed up for her people. It didn't matter what the occasion was. 2022, my family lost an aunt of mine, and a lot of people didn't attend the services. Not everybody did. She attended them. It didn't matter what the event was, she showed up. Whether she felt like being there, whether she felt like staying the whole time, she made an appearance because she knew her presence mattered. Every single day, I try to embody the Sully mindset. Her last name was Sullivan. Everybody called her Sully. And the way she showed up for her people is something I truly admired more than anything in the world. She really inspired me to be the best person I could be for myself and for other people. Also, guys, tell people how you feel. You know, one thing I am grateful for is that I told Kay every single year how she inspired me and how she was a badass. The anniversary of her dad's passing is in March, and every March I sent her a text and reminded her that he's proud of her, I'm proud of her, and she's a badass that inspires me. And you know, does that make the situation better? Not at all. But it gives me a little peace of mind knowing I don't have things left unsaid. October was also the month I went to Mount Shasta and then facilitated breathwork at the Essence Yoga Retreat, which brought so much spiritual clarity into my life and really helped me realize Kay wouldn't want me to wallow here in self-pity over the fact that she's gone. She'd want me to start embodying the Sully mindset. That's what she would want. These two experiences really helped me navigate my grief and reflect on what matters and on how I want Kay's legacy to be remembered. And to reflect on how I want to be remembered, but also embracing a lot of Sully and her mindset because I admire her so much. If people could remember me and have the legacy for me that they have for Kay, I did something right. 2024 was a year of transformation, growth, and lessons, whether it was through travel, breathwork, relationships, or anything else. Every step brought me closer to who I am truly meant to be. As we close this chapter, my invitation to you is to reflect. What are you ready to bring into your life? And what are you willing to release in order to make space for it? I am really feeling proud of everything I've accomplished and achieved this year. This year, I've released 90 episodes of Manders Mindset, not including this one. And I was a guest on 16 different podcasts. One of the most meaningful ones was with someone that means a lot to me, Chris from Swipe Wrong, the dating podcast. We met on Facebook, and our conversations, the recorded ones and the unrecorded ones, are something that has truly helped me transform so much this past year. Chris opened my eyes to realize I was settling for shitty situationships, and we have had so many amazing conversations that honestly, I am so grateful to have connected with Chris this past year. We haven't met in real life yet, but don't worry, we will be. I'll be posting it everywhere when I finally get to meet and squeeze this man in real life. He's somebody who has helped me look at the world so differently. If you haven't checked out Swipe Wrong by now, go do it. Because he is really changing the way of the dating culture and helping bring to life experiences that so many people struggled with. in the dating world. The things I facilitated at 2 yoga retreats. I offered sessions at Essence Yoga. I offered sessions at the Salt Cave in Island Wellness. I led a bunch of virtual group sessions. I started working with one-on-one clients. And prior to this year, I had never led any virtual breathwork sessions. I had that fear, imposter syndrome. Am I going to mess up the music? Am I going to do the sound the right way? All of these what ifs, per se. But it was a matter of just stepping out and doing it. This past year, I also applied to be one of the Breakfast Club hosts. The Breakfast Club is breathwork that we do in the morning within the breathwork community. It's offered every single day at 9 a.m. Eastern Standard Time. It's a shortened session, but it happens every day by a different host. They were looking for someone to host Monday morning breathwork sessions. When I didn't get the opportunity, I had 2 choices. I could wallow in my self-pity, or I could create my own Monday breathwork session. And I did exactly that. That's what started the Mindful Mindset Mondays with Manders. And how flowy is that? I just love how that sounds. But it was from this rejection that I transformed and shifted it into growth. I had 2 options here. I could be pissed. I could be upset. Which was I upset? Of course I was. It's okay to be disappointed. I shared a reel on Instagram this past year about it. Being okay with disappointment, letting yourself feel it, and let it go. I did a breathwork session, and it came to me in the breathwork session, Manders, who said you can't offer Monday breathwork sessions? Mindful Mindset Mondays with Manders. And it was like a light bulb went off, and I was like, oh my God. And I am so glad that I did this because it might have been the best thing that could have ever happened to me. It helped me get so much better at the technical skills, and they helped me grow in ways I didn't expect. One of the most rewarding moments during these mindful breathwork sessions was hearing from an old friend of mine from high school about how this was her first time doing breathwork, and she was able to release more than she has been able to release from therapy. She had been able to release things she had been holding onto for years. And it's moments like that that remind me why I do this. It's about helping people find their own breakthroughs and tapping into the breath and using it to find any breakthrough that will help them push to the next level. And it has been amazing. It was also this experience that brought the idea into my mindset of creating a breathwork podcast, because I wanted a space to share about the transformations and the power of breathwork that was not social media and that was not Manders Mindset. Because you might be listening to me right now and maybe you don't want to hear me talk about breathwork. Manders Mindset, the intention for this is to help you shift the way you show up in the world. The intention for Breathwork Magic is to help people realize the transformative, life-changing power of breathwork. And I've loved that. I release episodes every Friday. We're still getting things rolling, and it's been amazing. So what is to come for Manders Mindset, Manders, Breathwork Magic, and all of the above for 2025, you ask? I am so excited. 2025, all of January, you can start your week and end your week with a mindset shift. Every Monday and Friday in January of 2025, you will get a new Manders Mindset episode. But come February, Manders Mindset is taking a hiatus because Manders is heading back to Bali. Yep, back to Bali. That being said, February 3rd to March 3rd, you will not get any Manders Mindset episodes released. The next episode of Manders Mindset after January 31st will be released on March 3rd. That being said, I want to devote my time in Bali to being 125% present. Not that recording makes me not present or editing episodes or releasing, but I do not want any distractions, anything to be in my mind other than what I am in Bali for. That being said, I am going to Bali in February of 2025, and I am attending the sound healing training with Chauvin. And life is coming full circle in so many ways, and I'm so excited for that. But Breathwork Magic, not releasing any episodes in February either. That being said, all podcasting will resume in March. You'll get your episodes in January. February, we will be on hiatus. March 3rd kicks us back off for Manders Mindset. March 7th, Breathwork Magic will be back. Also, what else is to come for 2025? I will be posting much more on the Manders Mindset Instagram and in the Manders Mindset Facebook page. Every new episode release, I will be announcing on both just to keep you guys updated. Honestly, I got a little overwhelmed with all of it. And once I started releasing 2 episodes a week, the social media wasn't something I was prioritizing. Well, thank you guys so much for tuning in to the last solo episode of Manders Mindset for 2024. And with that being said, we have one more Manders Mindset podcast episode coming at you Monday, December 30th. If you enjoyed this episode, if you've enjoyed Manders Mindset throughout the year, I'd appreciate it if you left me a rating. Leave me a review. Let me know your thoughts. Manders Mindset can't change for the better or the worse without feedback. That's with everything. How can you improve or change or shift if you don't know how something is going? That being said, would really appreciate it if you left me a review on Apple Podcasts. If you're watching this on YouTube, leave me a comment, leave a like, hit the little bell to be notified when we release the next episode. And thank you guys again for all of your support this past year. And be sure to stay tuned. Monday, we have our final guest of the year coming on the show. You've heard from this individual before, and it's someone whose mindset I respect and who I truly admire as a person, but who also I witnessed shift his mindset a lot this past year. In my eyes, he's the king of growth. I could not have imagined recording a year-end review episode with anybody other than this individual. So stay tuned. Monday, it's coming at you. Thanks, guys. Until next time. In case no one told you today, I'm proud of you. I'm rooting for you. And you got this. As always, if you enjoyed the show, I would really appreciate it if you would leave me a 5-star rating, leave a review, and share it with anyone you think would benefit from this. And don't forget, you are only one mindset shift away from shifting your life. Thanks, guys. Until next time.